The Curse of PCA is nothing like other episodes of Zoey 101. It's the only special hour-long episode in the series where Chase's feelings for Zoey are not a major plot point. And yeah, this one's pretty hard to forget. Releasing all the way back in 2007, Nickelodeon thought The Curse of PCA was worthy of its own DVD, with an absolutely terrible cover. What the hell is this? It looks like a third grader made it. It also got its own scholastic book and even a flash game that was basically just a weird maze game, and it had almost nothing to do with the actual episode at all. Instead of the usual teen drama, will he finally tell her he likes her bullshit, in this episode we get something completely different. Crazy ass ghosts haunting all of the students. And what makes this episode truly wild is that unlike other Halloween episodes on kids shows, which usually end with some variation of, oh, turns out it was all just a prank or fake or something, in this one, the scary ghost turns out to be fully 100% real. Yeah, after this episode, it's canon in the Zoey 101 universe that ghosts exist, and then that's it. The characters just go back to casually living their normal lives and going to class, with the full knowledge that they are living amongst ghosts and the supernatural, which is just freaking wild. And since it's halfway to Halloween, I think it's definitely time to take a look back and see if this one is just as spooky as I remember. As always, if you guys like this one, be sure to give us a like and maybe even subscribe. I may just unblock my grandpa's phone number if you do. And if you have any other episodes or shows you'd like me to cover, let me know down in the comments. This is one of the most highly requested Zoey 101 episodes, so I'm excited to finally be covering this one for you guys. Alright, let's dive in. So we start off with the kids in class with a crusty old teacher who rapidly quizzes all of them on random bullshit and also verbally abuses the students.
Scotland?
Yes, but your shirt is hideous. Good riddance.
He then announces there will be a test on Friday and tells them all they have 2 days to get less ignorant and try to pass it. And I gotta say, this is pretty weird off the bat. This old mean teacher has never been seen or mentioned before. Has he not been a problem all semester? Why are they all even taking an economics class? I don't think economics is ever a required class for high schoolers. So you're telling me they're taking this as an elective or something? Why not just drop the class if he acts like such a jerk? So the kids all talk about how much of a cocksucker their teacher is, and Quinn tells them it's all their fault for taking Hodge's class when he's known for being the meanest teacher at PCA. And two things. One, Quinn is right. Two, I gotta point out how Chase's hair looks less bushy than usual in this scene. It's kinda bothering me, cause that ain't no fro, bro. The kids then bring up the legend of Charles Galloway, a student who went to PCA 50 years ago. Legend has it that Charles crashed out and lost his mind during one of Mr. Hodge's impossible tests. He went actually insane and ran off into the mountains, never to be seen again. Wait, Mr. Hodges was teaching at PCA 50 years ago? And he's still teaching now? Damn! But also, it's not the teacher's fault that Charles Galloway was so fucking stupid that he couldn't handle a simple exam without having a mental break. The rest of his class didn't go mad and run off into the mountains. Charles was just a pussy who couldn't hang. Chase and Zoey are trying to study when Michael and Logan bust in with an old PCA yearbook they found. Charles Galloway is in it, and they claim this proves the legend is true. Chase points out that it doesn't actually prove shit. It just proves that a student named Charles Galloway used to go to PCA, which is pretty funny. But they specifically say the old yearbook is over 50 years old. It's kind of upsetting that PCA doesn't pay their teachers a good enough salary for them to be able to retire by age 70. Cut to Lola and Quinn behaving like sexual predators. They use a Pear laptop to creep on unsuspecting boys and zoom in on them eating apples to determine who is a good kisser. I don't think there was even a rumor growing up about the way someone eats fruit correlating to how well they kiss. Honestly, Dan really pulled this one out of his ass, and it makes these characters seem weird and creepy as hell. Quinn says it would be dope if they could prove the legend of Charles Galloway is true by getting to Redstone Gulch. And Lola says, don't you need like a helicopter to get there? When suddenly a random senior pops up named Leif, and he says he can lead them there on a hike. This guy was not nearby close enough to overhear any of that conversation to jump in like that.
It's impossible to get up there without, like, a helicopter.
Well, not impossible.
Hi. Hello.
You guys want to hike up to Redstone Gulch?
There's no way. The entire crew meets up with Leif, and he brought mustard for the hike for some reason, because Zoey 101 has no actual jokes except random. The gang gets to the trail and notices a caution snakes sign, which honestly is a good reason to be cautious, but Quinn reassures the group they don't have to worry about seeing any snakes on this hike because she's armed with explosives and she isn't afraid to use them. And she means it. We see her set off explosives directed towards other students on school grounds and chasing Zoey. Quinn should honestly be on a government watch list or even in a maximum security prison. Let's be real. Also, one more quick sidebar. Quinn demonstrates her explosive shit on a nearby cactus, which causes the cactus to explode and rain down upon the group. Wouldn't all the pricks be sticking into the friend group? So everyone starts hiking, following the lead of this random dude Leif that none of them have even ever met before. Finally, someone asks if they're getting close yet because they've been hiking for 3 hours already.
Well,
Where's Redstone Gulch?
yeah, we've been hiking for 3 hours.
Leif says he's confused by his compass, and when Chase looks at it, he sees that it's all fucked up and pointing in all different directions. Zoey says she doesn't have time for this bullshit because she needs to study for the economics test, so the hike is now over with for the entire group because Zoey said so. She demands they all go back to PCA right goddamn now.
All right, I have to study for my test, so can we please go back down to PCA right now?
Oh, fair enough.
But the problem is, Leif doesn't know how to get back. Cut to the kids all sitting there doing nothing? Huh? Why not just start at least trying to walk towards where you came from? Leif runs off chasing a Mexican duck, thinking it'll lead them back to PCA, and Lola follows him. Quinn whips out her quinoculars, which she says can see through things, and doesn't do anything useful with them at all. She just tells Chase that she can see that he's wearing boxer briefs, and she's lucky Chase had underwear on. Lola catches up with Leif and he confesses that he's not a good hiking guide. He just volunteered to be their leader because he wanted to hang out with her. How cute. Back with the group, Quinn is up on Michael's shoulders using her quinoculars to look around, and she screams that she can see Redstone Gulch.
Whoa! Whoa!
I think I see Redstone Gulch!
Zoey bitches that she thought they were going back to PCA, but literally everyone else is excited to investigate the legend of Charles Galloway, and they just basically ignore her whiny ass, which I would too. When Leif and Lola try to meet back up with their friends, they end up walking in a giant circle and land back where they started. The rest of the group makes it to Redstone Gulch, and it's just like an open space with some weird fencing and a random structure. Quinn whips out her metal detector and starts searching for some proof of Charles Galloway being in Redstone Gulch. And back with Leif and Lola, they're still lost, and Lola's rightfully pissed off and calls Leif a weirdo, but they decide to sit down and eat some fruit. And despite calling him a freak 60 seconds ago,
You think I'm silly?
No, Leif. SpongeBob's friend Patrick is silly. I think you're a weirdo.
Lola watches Leif bite into an apple, bites her lip while staring at him, and then kisses him. And I don't know, something about this entire exchange is just fucking crazy to me. Back with the crew, they find a necklace with Charles's name engraved on it, proving that Charles Galloway really was here. But what if bro was just a hiker and dropped the necklace on a casual hike? Logan wants to keep the necklace because he thinks it's crazy they found proof of the legend being real. But the others insist on putting it back and say you don't want to mess with a man's eternal resting place. The other kids are extremely paranoid about Logan stealing the necklace, so they all decide to walk away and give him plenty of privacy to be alone while he buries it back in the ground. He, of course, steals it by smuggling it into Zoey's backpack, and Chase had promised to frisk him.
And don't even think about trying to steal it, because we're gonna frisk you. Everywhere.
Yeah, Chase didn't frisk him. Not that it would have worked anyway. They basically make it as easy as possible for Logan to steal this necklace. Within seconds, some crazy thunder and lightning rolls in. The kids say, let's get the hell out of here, but they hiked for 3 whole hours to get to this point. So they aren't getting out of this storm fast at all. Quinn screams that she's never seen a storm come in this fast, but she reminds them that it's only weather and they don't have to worry that much.
Never seen a storm coming this fast! The barometric conditions is messing!
That lightning almost hit us!
It's just weather!
And honestly, the green mist in the air reminds me of the monoxapuff gas from the Drake and Josh In episode.
Look! It's the monoxapuff gas!
The storm keeps shooting bolts of lightning mere inches from the kids, and they all decide to run for their lives. Chase abandons Zoey, the love of his life, when he takes off running from the lightning and the green weather storm, completely leaving her to fend for herself. Zoey falls and injures her ankle and crawls around screaming for Chase. Why don't you do something for yourself, Zoey? Aren't you the feminist who joined the boys' basketball team? First instinct is to call a man's name for help. Not my Zoey. Hell, even Quinn, Michael, and Logan abandon their friends and run for their lives. When push comes to shove, it's every goddamn man for himself in this shitty friend group. Chase ends up finding Zoey and carries her to take her off to the infirmary. You know, a 3-hour hike.
We've been hiking for 3 hours.
It's a very far distance to carry someone. Chase is basically doing some army training right now. We see Quinn, Michael, and Logan arrive back at PCA, and somehow Lola and Leif are already there making out. They were so unconcerned about their other friend's safety that they decided to just make out on the couch instead of getting help. Quinn finally asks, where are Zoey and Chase? The entire group abandoned both Zoey and Chase, and nobody noticed they were unaccounted for until they got fully back to campus? Remember, it was a 3-hour journey there and home. That's surely enough time to do a head count, right? Michael, Logan, and Quinn argue about whether it was just a storm or the ghost of Charles Galloway, and Lola and Leif just go back to making out. Zoey and Chase arrive at the PCA Health Center, and Zoey is now fully walking on her injured ankle. I guess Chase just got fucking tired. The only other student there is Stacy, who got sent for mental rest after having a mental breakdown in class. Chase asks to use the phone and calls the lounge, and Michael answers saying, "Lounge."
Lounge.
What? Couldn't any random student have been using the lounge and answered that phone? And for that matter, don't we see them all using cell phones in other episodes? The tech mate was introduced in season 2, and we're already in season 3 by this point. Shouldn't brother just text him or call him on the cell phone? Come on. Lola and Leif make out a little bit more, and then they all go off to meet Zoey at the infirmary. Over at the infirmary, Chase tries to make a joke, and the nurse gets kinda snippy with him.
Eat that soup and don't spit on the floor.
Aw, she can't spit on the floor?
I don't like your brand of comedy.
Kinda sounds like some of my commenters. Zoey and Chase yap about the freaky events that happened when we get a legit horror movie moment. Zoey's bowl of soup turns into a bowl of worms, then back into soup again when she tells Chase to look. I'm spooked. The nurse comes back into the room and we get what is, in my opinion, one of the most iconic moments of the entire episode.
But, face. Did you call me butt face?
Zoey asks Chase if he saw anything wrong with the butt, and Chase says the nurse should do some squats and then tells Zoey to get some sleep. But Zoey says she can't go to sleep because she has to study for the damn economics test in the morning. Zoey, you are injured in the infirmary being haunted by a ghost. I don't think the grade on your economics exam should be your top priority. The monoxapuff gas comes back and stuff starts flying around the room. Then a goddamn bucket flies onto Zoey's head. And fun fact, that's not Jamie Lynn Spears anymore playing Zoey. Once the bucket is on her head, it's a body double for all the scenes where she's stuck in the bucket. The other kids see the monoxapuff gas and scream at the top of their lungs.
Okay, that's not normal.
The butt-faced ghost appears now in the monoxapuff gas in the sky, and Michael runs inside the building while the others wait outside because they're too scared. And honestly, how is outside the safer spot when the green gas and the ghost is out there? He tries to help Zoey and Chase get the bucket off her head, but it's not coming off. And for some reason, she can't hear Michael at all.
Why'd you open the door? It opened by itself!
Who are you talking to?
Chase says that Zoey can't walk, and Michael says there's a gurney in the hall. So they walk Zoey over to the gurney and roll her out of there.
Are you guys okay? Not really.
Zoey just heard Quinn perfectly fine through the bucket, even though she couldn't hear Michael at all when he was 1 foot away. Is the bucket soundproof or not? Zoey ends up rolling away on the gurney, and Chase runs after her, while the other kids get harassed by the ghostly green mist. Quinn says she knows what to do, and they run to her dorm room, and she cooks up some crystal meth to fight the ghost. Back with Zoey, Chase tells her to jump because she's rolling towards some stairs.
Stairs!
What?
Stairs!
What stairs?
Jump now!
Stellar acting by Jamie Lynn. Totally seems like she has a broken ankle. She's doing goddamn parkour. She didn't even seem like she was in pain at all doing that jump on a fractured limb. Ridiculous. And the rolling gurney hits Stacy, of course, and Chase and Zoey just leave her for dead. They don't even check on her. They meet up with the others, and Quinn tries to use her crystal meth invention to kill the ghost. Zoey continues to walk and stand easily on her broken ankle as well, without so much as even grimacing in pain. Quinn's invention doesn't really do shit except make it windy and destroy the classroom. The green ghost comes back right away, and they all run off. Finally, Logan admits that he stole the necklace.
Hand me your backpack.
I can't believe this.
And really, they should have seen this coming. They gave him tons of privacy to steal it after he expressed clear intentions to steal it. So they all hike back to the spot they found it and return the necklace. And it's bright outside now? Did they hike all night long? And wait, Zoey went on the hike too? She's standing up on 2 feet like nothing is wrong. Did they straight up forget about her broken ankle? What the hell? They apologize to Charles, and his green ghostly spirit dives back into the ground. Okay. The kids realize they need to get back to PCA for their econ exam after pulling an all-nighter. Yeah, they're gonna fail.
Can't run, my ankle.
She just did a 3-hour hike! How can they pick and choose when she's injured like this? I'm getting pissed. Back at PCA, the teacher is not happy that his classroom's been trashed overnight. The kids say it was the ghost of Charles Galloway that did it, and the teacher says bullshit, there's no such thing as ghosts. Charles Galloway hears this and launches himself out of the ground and over to PCA to harass the teacher, causing him to cancel the test. So the ghost terrorized them the entire episode, but decided to help them in the end. I guess that's kinda sweet. And that's it. The end. Which is really freaking bizarre. I mean, think about it. Most scary episodes like this one will end with some kind of, it was all a prank. Haha, gotcha, I was just scaring you. But in this one, the ghost is just straight up real. No tricks, no pranks. Ghosts just now simply exist in the Zoey 101 universe. Something else kind of weird about this episode is that it ends with Lola and Leif seemingly as a couple. Literally within the last minute of the episode, we see them making out again with each other. Then after this episode, he is never seen again. Ever. Or even mentioned. That's it for Leif. How can they set up a new love interest for Victoria Justice, literally have them continue dating at the end of the episode, and then never bring them up again? I'm pissed. It's kind of cool that ghosts are real in the Zoey 101 universe. I honestly wish I knew who was playing the butt-faced ghost of Charles Galloway, but I really don't. But I think you could rewatch this one and still have a fun time. It's still a classic Zoey 101 episode, and it's nice to not hear Chase yapping about how much he loves Zoey for once. But But enough of me yapping. What do you guys think of Curse of PCA? Did you enjoy the ghost fighting craziness? Or did you miss the normal team drama we usually get on Zoey 101? Let me know how you're feeling in the comments, and let's kick it. And as always, I gotta give a big shout out to my channel and Patreon members. You guys tickle my pickle. I appreciate all of you so much. And to show my appreciation, I've written you a special haiku today. The Ouija board squeaks. Will you please touch me? I ask. Ghost fondles my balls. All right, you guys, I can never put into words how much I appreciate you, and no matter how many times I say it, it never loses any value or power to me. Please know that it means the world to me that I have your support. If you're still here, damn, that's sick. That's dope. Maybe subscribe. Maybe check out some other videos. Maybe plan a beach trip this summer. Even if you don't live near the beach, make an effort. Do yourself a favor. All right, thanks for listening.